Hi, I am Ben Jacobs, the co-owner, co-founder of Tocabe, an American Indian eatery, and Tocabe Indigenous Marketplace. And I am here today to teach you how to do a recipe. It's actually one of my favorites. It's called blue corn mush. It is one of my favorite traditional style recipes because I think it speaks towards what native foods are. Its complexity, its simplicity, its aromas, its flavors, its ingredient utilization. And also, it's just something that's so easy and healthy that you can eat every day. So, very simply, blue corn mush. So let's make the recipe. Cool. So we're going to start with Ute Mountain blue corn. It's one of my favorites because it's a coarser grind. It also has a great aroma and texture to it. It's a little bit coarser, so you have more texture and, along with your creaminess in your corn mush. So very simply, I already have water going. It's kind of at a gentle simmer right now. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit. You don't want a rolling boil because it's going to be too much, but you also don't want a flat just surface of water because you really want to be able to bubble in and mix everything in. So the recipe is very simple. The way I like to do it is a 4-to-1 ratio. 4-to-1 water to corn. So right now I have 2 cups of water slowly simmering away. I have a half cup of cornmeal. But before I do that, I like to season my water. Not everyone does that, but you can do that. So for me, very simply, I'm going to add a little bit of kosher salt to there. You can add sea salt. You can add what you like. Don't do plain salt. Use something that's a more coarser grind on that. Also, I like to add a little sweetness to my actual water. So I'm going to add agave to that. You can do whatever you like. You can add maple syrup. You can add honey. You can add maple sugar. You can add brown sugar or maple sugar. Those are 2 different things, but you can add either one. Whisk those in and see what you have there. See what you like. So most people do not do this, but I like to. So I like to taste my water to see how well it's seasoned. So it's very hot. I actually think you use a little bit more salt and a touch more agave. Again, now you can add some of this later. I like to do it now before I start adding my corn so I know where the water flavoring is at. Okay, so that's mixed in. One other thing that you can do, which we like to add when we make ours, is ash. So a culinary ash. This is juniper ash or cedar ash. This is always done in more of a traditional method. And so if you don't have any of that, if you don't have a juniper or a cedar ash, you can use baking soda. So basically you're just creating an alkaline solution in there that's going to help the corn cook. Look at that bubble up. It's also going to add an amazing aroma. You'll add some of that smokiness in there. So that's already going. And so my water is at kind of that gentle simmer. So now very simply, just slowly start adding your corn in. Little by little, you want to add that corn in and you want to whisk, okay? So you want to make sure you're really whisking that as it goes in because you want to kind of keep it as thin and as creamy as possible. You don't want to have big chunks, okay? So also with that water still bubbling and simmering, you want to make sure that it's not going to bubble over. It's not going to get to be too chunky either. So that's why I really like to continue to whisk and then slowly add my corn. Also, you need to give that corn time to hydrate. You really need that corn time. You need to give it that time to really start to absorb that water and soften. Now it seems crazy. It's like, well, it's already kind of thin and sandy and milly. It should just be creamy right away. Well, it's not, because since it is that dried corn, it needs that time to absorb the water. So I'm just adding that in, taking my time here, and letting it just thin and become creamy. So I'm going to add all that. Very simply, I'll add the end. Now you can see it's really bubbling away there. So now it feels a little thick. So I would just add a little bit more water to let it thin out. And I'd let this go for a couple more minutes. Right now I'm going to just turn my heat off because I already finished some so you could see that. So technically it's done now. You'd want it to have a little bit more time though. I would add a little bit more water and just keep whisking away. But right now, since I already made a batch, I'm going to set that one aside and show you how we finish. So I already have a small cup of some I made before. This is totally up to you. What makes it really fun and for breakfast is what you like to add. So I like sunflower seeds. I like pumpkin seeds. I like cranberries or dried blueberries. Dehydrated fruits fruits are always great. Also, I like to add a little bit more sweetness at this point. So let's just finish it up. So I have a little bowl here, and if you want to tilt that down, I have a little bowl here with that blue corn mush already in there. I'm gonna add some of my pumpkin seeds, my sunflower seeds, my cranberries. I'm gonna add a touch more of the agave on top. All right, can you see a real nice picture of that? And then it's done. It's totally, it's finished. Again, if you want to add something else to it, you can add fresh fruit. I always love fresh strawberries or blueberries or raspberries. But again, it's up to you. It's your world. We're living in it. That's the simple recipe. You can eat blue corn mush plain. You can add all varieties of toppings, but totally up to you. So I hope you try this at home. I hope you share it with your friends, your family, and I hope it becomes a part of your daily breakfast routine because it is so delicious. Again, it is one of my favorites. So I thank you for your time. I thank you for letting me share a recipe with you, and I hope you enjoy your blue corn mush. Thanks. Bye-bye.